we can see that these children are having loads of fun. So this is a story written by Isaac Asimov. This story takes us to the world of the future where computers will play a major role. The term virtual reality refers to a reality created by computer software, and a virtual classroom is not a real classroom but one where learning is through computer software or internet. When you're playing video games, you enter virtual reality. Okay, so it is not real but seems to be. Okay, and virtual classroom, we all had a taste of virtual classroom during the pandemic. Here, the author visualizes or thinks about the schools of future. So, in the schools of future, he thinks there's going to be virtual classroom where the learning is going to be through internet, and obviously they're going to be learning through computers, and there's going to be a robotic teacher, and the books are going to be ebooks with moving e-texts. Welcome to English Tutorial Edu. This is Sumita, and we are going to be learning about the story The Fun They Had by Isaac Asimov. Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary. So Margie is a girl who keeps a diary. On the page headed 17th May 2057, she wrote, "Today Tommy found a real book." May 17th, 2157 is about 130 plus years from now. So it is faraway time. Margie is writing that Tommy had found a real book. It was a very old book. Margie's grandfather once said when he was a little boy, his grandfather told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. And imagine that more than 100 years from now, there are not going to be any kind of paper books. Okay, everything is going to be in the computer. They turned the pages, which were yellow and crinkly. Crinkly means all crumpled with folds and everything. And it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to on a screen, you know. And then when they turned back to the page before, it had the same words on it that it had when they read it the first time. Obviously, printed books will have the same thing written if you turn the pages, but it was strange for Margie and Tommy because they had never seen a printed book. "Gee," said Tommy, "what a waste. When you are through with the book, you just throw it away, I guess. Television screen must have had 1,000,000 books on it, and it's good for plenty more. I wouldn't throw it away." Tommy has all the books in his computer, and there is more space to have more books, and he can never ever think of throwing it away. And it is a reality that now do not use the same books in the next class and we have to throw it away. "Same with mine," said Margie. She was 11 and hadn't seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. He was 13. Margie was 11-year-old and Tommy was 13-year-old. She said, "Where did you find it?" "In my house." He pointed without looking because he was busy reading. "In the attic." This is the attic, the top portion of the house where just underneath the roof where they can store things. "What is it about?" "School." Margie was scornful. "School? What's there to write about school? I hate school." Scornful means contemptuous, showing you think something is worthless. So she didn't like school and thought it to be a worthless topic to be write about. Margie always hated school, but now she hated it more than ever. The mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography, and she had been doing worse and worse until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and sent for the county inspector. So what was the reason for her disliking school even more? Because the mechanical teacher who taught her through the computer was giving her test after test in geography and she was not performing well, so she disliked the school even more. Obviously, he was a round little man with a red face and a whole box of tools with dials and wires. So how did the county inspector look? It was a round little man and he had a red face and a box of tools. He smiled at Margie and gave her an apple. Good thing to give, don't you think, instead of sweets? Then took the teacher apart. Thank God it is a mechanical teacher. Margie had hoped he wouldn't know how to put it together again, but he knew how all right. And after an hour or so, there it was again, large and black and ugly, big screen on which all the lessons were shown and the questions were asked. So how did the mechanical teacher look? It was large, black, it was ugly with a big screen on which the lessons were displayed. That wasn't so bad. The But Margie hated most was the slot where she had to put the homework and test papers. So she had to do the homework and take the test, and it was a monotonous thing, and she had to put all of them in the slot. She always had to write them out in punch code, tedious kind of work, very tiresome work. And they made her learn when she was 6 years old. And the mechanical teacher calculated the marks in no time. Obviously, it is a computer and it can do the calculations and corrections very fast. So this is the picture of a punch code in the initial stages when the computer was made. The programming was done through these punch codes. The inspector had smiled after he was finished and patted Margie's head. He said to her mother, "It's not the little girl's fault, Mrs. Jones. I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick. Those things happen sometimes. I've slowed it up to an average 10-year. So what was wrong about the mechanical teacher? The geography sector was geared a little too quick. It was too fast-paced for Margie. So what did the county inspector do? The county inspector slowed it up to the average 10-year level. Although Margie was 11-year-old, but the teachers were adjusted according to the learning capabilities of the students. So he slowed it down to average 10-year. Actually, the overall pattern of her progress is quite satisfactory. And he patted Margie's head again. So overall progress is quite good, and they were satisfied with that. Margie was disappointed. She had been hoping they would take the teacher away altogether. So when her mother called county inspectors, she expected him to take away the teacher. They had once taken Tommy's teacher away for nearly a month because the history sector had blanked out completely. So it once happened with Tommy's mechanical teacher. The history sector didn't have anything, so they had to take it away for a month, and Margie was hoping against hope that he would take away her mechanical teacher for a month also. Why would anyone write about school? Tommy looked at her with very superior eyes. Because it is not our kind of school, stupid. This is the old kind of school that they had hundreds and hundreds of years ago. He added loftily. Loftily means in a superior way, pronouncing the words carefully. Centuries ago. So he was very proud of having more knowledge than Margie. Margie was hurt. Well, I don't know what kind of school they had all that time ago. She's only an 11-year-old. She doesn't have all that kind of knowledge. She read the book over his shoulder for a while, then said, "Anyway, they had a teacher." So this is Tommy and this is Margie, and she's thinking about the kind of school that children had hundreds and hundreds of years ago. They had a teacher. It was a man. Sure, they had a teacher, but it wasn't a regular teacher. It was a man. So what does Tommy mean by a regular teacher here? He means a mechanical teacher. He says that the children hundreds and hundreds of years ago didn't have a robotic teacher. They had a human being as a teacher. A man? So this is what Margie is telling. How could a man be a teacher? Well, he just told the boys and girls things and gave them homework and asked them questions. So Tommy is telling a teacher who was a human being taught the students and gave them homework and asked them questions. Margie is telling a man isn't smart enough. She doesn't have much confidence in men. Sure he is. My father knows as much as my teacher. So Tommy says that his father is as knowledgeable as his mechanical teacher. He knows almost as much, I betcha. Betcha means I bet you in fast speech. I'm sure. Margie wasn't prepared to dispute that. She said, "I wouldn't want a strange man in my house to teach me." So she was very much confused. Why would a strange man come to the house to teach her? Tommy screamed with laughter. "You don't know much, Margie. The teachers didn't live in the house. They had a special building and all the kids went there." Tommy explained that they had a special building in which all the students went and all the kids learned the same thing. Tommy says, "Sure, if they were the same age." Then Margie says, "But my mother says a teacher has to be adjusted to fit the mind of each boy and girl it teaches, and that each kid has to be taught differently." She was confused because every boy and girl doesn't have the same intelligence, and the learning has to be paced according to the intelligence or level or the learning capacity of the student. But Tommy says, just the same, they didn't do it that way then. If you don't like it, you don't have to read the book. So he is showing his superiority. I didn't say I didn't like it, Margie said quickly. She wanted to read about those funny schools. They weren't even half finished when Margie's mother called, Margie, school. Margie looked up. Not yet, Mamma. Now, said Mrs. Jones, and it's probably time for Tommy too. Margie said to Tommy, can I read the book some more with you after school? Maybe, he said nonchalantly. So nonchalantly means not showing much interest or enthusiasm. So he's acting superior. He walked away whistling, the dusty old book tucked beneath his arm. So he was very much happy and feeling proud that he has a book. Margie went to the schoolroom. It was right next to her bedroom, and the mechanical teacher was on and waiting for her. It was always on at the same time every day except Saturday and Sunday. So when did she learn? Except for the weekends, she learned at the same time every day. Because her mother said that little girls learned better if they learned at regular hours. So why did she learn at regular time? Because her mother said that it was better for her to learn in regular hours. The screen was lit up and it said, today's arithmetic lesson is on addition of proper fractions. Please insert yesterday's homework in the proper slot. So it was the same monotonous tone of the mechanical teacher. Margie did so with a sigh. So she was so bored. She was thinking about the old schools that they had when her grandfather's grandfather was a little boy. All the kids from the whole neighborhood came laughing and shouting in the schoolyard, sitting together in the schoolroom, going home together at the end of the day. They learned the same things so they could help one another with the homework and talk about it. So this was so much more fun, she thought. And the teachers were people. Of course, everybody loves a human touch. They would, no matter how superior a mechanical teacher is, the mechanical teacher wouldn't understand the difficulties of a child. The mechanical teacher was flashing on the screen. When we add fractions, half and 1/4, and Margie was thinking about how the kids must have loved it in the old days. She was thinking about the fun they had. So the author has ended with the title of the story. And obviously, if a girl like Margie had to sit in front of the computer entire day all alone and learn the things in a monotonous manner, it is going to be real boring. So she would think that it is great to have a chance to go to school and have loads of fun with friends at school. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to my channel and press the like button. If you have any questions, please put it in the comment box. Thanks for watching.